Hey guys, Mike here with the Everyday Dad, and what I'm going to be talking about today is faith. This isn't a faith-based argument, debate about which faith is better than the other, what religion is better than the other. So not what I'm going to do here today. I'm talking about how faith affects me personally and how it's the driving force in my life. Growing up, my grandfather was a strong man of faith, a strong man of conviction. And growing up as kids, we spent a lot of time at my grandparents' home. And one of my fondest memories was watching TV on the weekends, like on a Saturday. We used to love to watch Houston wrestling. It'd come on like right after the news at 10:30 and it'd go up until midnight. And at midnight, we'd turn off the lights and TV and get ready for bed. My grandfather did this on a consistent practice like every night. He would go around and bless the house. He would do the sign of a cross at every bedroom, and he would say a prayer silently. And as kids, we knew that that was what Grandpa was doing. I can't remember when he started doing it because he was always doing it. And he did it day after day, year after year, until he passed or until he couldn't do it anymore. And I remember going to sleep at my grandfather's house. We always felt so safe and secure, right? And I think that is what faith leads us to, is to have some safeness and feel secure about ourselves in all walks of our life. It's believing in something, in a higher power that is greater than ourselves. It's us being able to relinquish some of our own self-control and realize that we're not in control. Or I should say that we can only control what we can, and the rest we leave it up to God, the rest we leave it up to faith. So that's something that I want to talk with today. My father was also a man of great faith. My dad was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis when about the age of 30 years old. And so for the majority of his adult life, he lived with this MS. And for the last 20 years of his life, he was bedridden. And you would think that a person in that kind of situation would be a little bit bitter, maybe a little bit angry, maybe even angry at God. I don't know if my dad ever went through that. I'm sure there was times that he did, but he never showed us that, or he never showed me that. The last few years of his life, we had to move him into an assisted living facility because his health had really deteriorated, where he needed around-the-clock help with the nurses. And the staff there at his facility said that he was one of their favorite patients. He wasn't rude to them. He wasn't angry with them. He wasn't angry about life. And I remember asking my dad one day how he felt about God, and that if he felt any resentment towards God. I don't remember exactly how I worded it, but it was something along that effect. And he looked at me with this strange look like, what kind of question is that? Like, this is my life. This is me. This is who I am. Why would I be mad at it? And it really made me think that a person in that situation starts to go up to another spiritual level. They have another spiritual level of consciousness on how he thought and how he lived his life, even though it was the same thing every day in a bed. It was, people constantly looking after him and taking care of him. So I always had that strong sense of faith with me, and always tried to exceed or make my dad proud or make my grandfather proud. And it was a faith-based pride, right? Because I knew that whatever I did, as long as I put my faith into it, and anything that I did, that it would all work out well. I'm 44 years old. I'll be 45 at the end of the month. And I've got to say that it has. And not to say that I haven't gone through my rough patches in life, because I have. I've been down low spiritually, emotionally, financially, all that stuff, right? Faith was always running through it. And it was in those valleys, if you will, that you really start to grab onto faith and you really hold on to it. And it really makes you dig deep in what you're doing. And eventually things got better. And I think probably most of you have a similar story like that if you haven't gone through it already. And hopefully, if you're young, you know, those valleys won't be so deep. So we try to create that. And I pass that information and knowledge and spirituality on to my kids, and what I hope to encourage them and teach them with. And I think we're doing a pretty good job. My wife is an awesome mother. She is fantastic about being a mom, about keeping the kids straight and keeping on top of the kids and what they need to do in their, you know, school life and things of that nature. But as far as the spirituality is concerned, that's where I really kind of step up my game and what I add of value to our family. Because I believe that as the man in the house, I'm also the spiritual head of my house. And so my kids, especially being boys, see what their dad does. And they know that their dad is a faith-based person. My kids are involved in the youth program at church, and they really get a lot out of it. Now, of course, we have a great youth pastor at our church, and it makes it fun for the kids. That's a big part of it. The church that we go to, we are active members of that church. We have a great parish priest who gets everybody involved, not just the parents, but the kids as well. And that makes a big difference. But it's no bigger difference than the difference at home and how our home lives are. So I wanted to share that with you guys. In my religion and my faith and my spirituality is very important to me. And I know that for a lot of you, it's just important as well. And sometimes we don't hear it all the times from your everyday dad. So wanted to leave that thought with you guys. Thank you. Have a blessed week. Until next time, peace.